back.
Hey, we're back. Good to see you, Andrew. Feels like it's been longer than a week.
Well, it sure has, Johnny. It's been 8 days because we're recording this on a rare Wednesday night. For us, normally we're a Tuesday operation, but I had a hot gig last night at a 55 plus community.
Oh,
in Bonnie
nice.
Lake.
Where was it?
Bonnie Lake, which is like Tacoma, Washington area.
Okay, nice. Well, what numbers are we talking about? How many people showed?
Oh, they had a good 100 or so, but I will say it's so funny. It's that thing you say but I handled this the best I've ever handled it because I'm ready for it now. But you say you live in Portland,
Yeah.
and you get this sort of like, sorry, and I used to get very like adversarial, and I could feel like the room there'd be tension, and then I have all these jokes about Portland, and that would relieve the tension.
Yep.
But then you had to get to the jokes before anybody could like have a good time because they felt like I was offended or something. And what I've learned is you just kind of like, you take it very, very like, you just parry it, Like I try to picture myself like in your fencing or sword fighter and you're barely trying.
Yep.
So they say it and it's like, oh, I don't care what you say. Oh yeah, sure. I hear that a lot. You like, it's very dismissive. Like, yeah, I go everywhere and everybody has the same moronic response.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you would do that too.
Yeah.
But there's one lady, she was just she would not let it go. But I really handled it I was just very proud of myself. I was like, yeah, you did a good job to like not create a hole. But do you get that when you say you're from Madison? Does the rest of Wisconsin get mad that you're from Madison?
No, yeah, not really. I mean, no, because Madison's the best place. They all wish they fucking lived in Madison.
Well, yeah, but they don't think the Madison's like a liberal hellhole.
No, not I've had
Or they're just probably more
some people
polite.
that are like, oh, everyone's so liberal out there, but
they don't think it's like on fire and stuff. Because probably like you guys keep it a little cleaner.
Oh, we keep it clean, baby.
Yeah, you keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Well, anyway, I thought I did a good job. And I worked with this guy. Do you know Steve Bruner? Have you ever heard of him? I couldn't stick around to watch his set. He's a nice guy. He's a little older than me, older than us. And I had a moment because I was like, man, I've done a few of these 55 plus things lately.
Yeah.
And right now I'm the young guy. It's the same thing with the cruise ships. Like, you're the young guy. You're young and you're like, how do I entertain these
55 plus. It's so funny. When you first said that, I was like, oh, and old folks. And I'm like, I'm almost 10 years from that.
Right? And it hit me when I was seeing Steve. I was like, oh, he is 55, probably. I'm not gonna, maybe he's not. He looks like a good, anyway, whatever. I would assume he's about 55. Okay. And that must have hit him like a ton of bricks. Like, at one point you're figuring out, how do I entertain these people? And then the next thing you know, you turn around, you're like, I am these people.
Yeah. It's like, oh, how convenient. My act just suddenly really connects with these types of communities.
And then like someone books you at a college and you're shitting your pants. You're like, how do I talk to these people?
Oh, I remember having that, because I used to do, I didn't do a ton of colleges, but like when I would do colleges, I was like, oh, that's my sweet spot. And then there was enough time passed and my act changed enough to where I was like, oh my God, I'd really have to dig through some notebooks.
I'm up to like 25 minutes on my kid, I think, like, which I'm like, can I do any of that at a college?
You can get, they are familiar with the concept.
Yeah, they know what kids are.
Yeah. I thought Ray Romano was funny when I was young, but that's like,
Yeah, that's a good point. They know what relationships might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was interesting. What else was I gonna say about? I can't remember, but yeah, it just the man, life comes at you fast as far as comedy. The other thing I realized, I can't, like, we're doing a podcast. We love everyone who listens to our podcast, We're like kind of a comedy podcast. We don't talk too much comedy business, I feel like, but maybe we do venture in that.
Our Patreon subscribers would beg to differ.
Yeah, we do a lot of comedy business on the Patreon, I suppose. But it's very lower to middle class comedy business, I would say.
Yes.
I cannot listen to comedy podcasts on the way to gigs like that.
Oh, because it's just
very depressing.
Frustrating.
Yeah, very depressing. I like this Neil Brennan, the Blocks podcast, because he talks to comedians about like their issues, you know,
yes,
mental issues and going to therapy and stuff.
Yep.
And it's interesting to hear like comedic perspectives on like getting better and stuff like that mentally.
Yep.
But the last thing you want to hear is like the most successful comedians in the world talk about their problems on their way to your 55 plus gig.
I know.
And then they're talking about like Neil Brennan's talking about like his class and like when he started and the guys and like, oh yeah, they went on to become, you know, big, successful. And, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to drive my car into a tree right now. So don't do that. Stick to sports. That's what I say. Sports and politics. I guess I should not venture out of those podcast lanes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The police would show up. Yeah, he was just in his car. I don't know what happened. There was no like
he heard
no skid marks. It was just a podcast playing when we pulled up to the scene.
It was just Bert Kreischer complaining about the state of comedy. Somehow he also had a rope around his neck. I don't even know.
Yeah. He had a printout of MapQuest directions on the passenger seat.
Oh, and then yeah, it was just he just Google mapped sturdy tree. Is there like a heavily rooted oak around here that would sustain a blast from a Prius? Oh, and when they talk about the economics of comedy and how much money there is now, I love that. These fucking millionaires. Oh yeah, you know, now there's so much money. Netflix is just handing money out to comedians left and right and podcasts. They're all millionaires and all that stuff. It's like not for like most comedians are doing probably worse than ever.
Yeah.
Like we're doing fine. We're doing fine. We work really hard. We found little niches to get by, but it's not like the money is any better now for us or for like the average working comedian than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's still stress on the horizon. Yes. Nonstop.
It's not like there is no trickle down to the famous podcaster, TikTok, YouTube comedian, Netflix boom.
Yeah.
That would be my point. It is a top heavy boom.
Yes.
Anyway.
I did depressing. Yeah, I'll cheer us up. I got to perform at the Epic Event Center in Green Bay. And this was another example of where it's a great gig and I didn't know how great it was. It was just like, oh yeah, I booked it. It's on my calendar. When I get there, I'll see what it is. And I wish I had known what it was for weeks ahead so I could like be anticipating it and
tell people about it.
Yeah. I mean, I pull up, it was sold out, but it was like, I mean, but it was cool. This is what it is. It's an event, you know, it's a big center where they have concerts. Like 311 performed there 2 years ago. And I was like, even thinking about going, I was like, oh, 311's in Green Bay, whatever. I can't do it. But that was where they were performing. And so it was like, you know, a big, huge stage with a huge stage, you know, a big open area. They obviously, you know, sold out was 200 because they had cocktail table, you know, it's a comedy show, not a concert, but there's like a green room with showers, laundry machines. It's like, this is like where bands, you know, so I was like, oh my gosh, you know, they had a basket with all sorts of food and candy, a fridge full of beer. I was like, and it was just so fun to like perform there.
Like that. What was the show? Like who else was it? You and then what else is?
It was it was Christopher Olsen, who's kind of a local Appleton. I think he lives in Appleton comic, and then Charlie Kogis, who's a great Madison comic, and then I did an hour, but it was like the
Nice.
first
Oh,
time.
so you're the star of the show in this big venue that's sold out.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it till I showed up.
And this was last night
No,
or
this was Friday
Saturday?
night.
Friday night.
Friday night. And then Saturday, I was in Crandon at a Indian casino that I got through Gig Masters. And boy, did that put
That
me
brought
in
you
my
right back down.
place. Oh
You
my
should
God.
have
It was Charlie again.
brought
Oh,
some of those green room beers to Crandon because they don't transfer.
no, they don't. Oh my gosh. It was this like, they were like so thankful. They're like, oh, we never have comedy. It was like their first time doing it, and they were appreciative, but they didn't know how to
Do it.
not talk before the punchline.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
know what's
God.
crazy about like, and I always tell this to comedy clubs, like it's so easy to buy like to show so easy to pay for respect from comedians or like buy off our like what am I trying to say? Like it's so cheap to make me feel like, whoa, oh my
Right,
God.
right.
Like you could go to Costco with $20
Yep.
and put that in a side room of just like you said, nuts, couple of beers, some
Yep.
sodas, and then every comedian is like, oh my God, it was the best green room. They had like candy, they had a power bar, they
That's
had Bud Lights. It was
that's why
incredible.
everyone likes Spokane and
Yeah.
Tacoma. They got
Yo,
a candy
Adam.
drawer.
Yeah. Adam has Adam and yeah, in the one in Vegas, the Brad Garrett's. I mean, people go on and on and on about and it costs you nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, he must laugh. Like Adam runs Spokane. He must laugh when people talk about how great his green room is because he's like, oh, it cost me like a $40 Costco run every month,
Yeah.
and I've got the most stocked green room in America. It's really so easy. And it's like so easy the other way too to make us like think you're the cheapest fucks in the world when you're like, oh, don't order. You can only
Yeah.
order like this side of the menu.
You get a half off on your
Yeah, you get
first
half off.
beer.
Your first drink's free, but after that, we gotta start charging like it costs you nothing to give like draft beers away. Like you're just
Yeah.
insane. But anyway.
Just put candy and then get a Nintendo or some sort
Oh
of
yeah,
gaming
yeah,
system in
yeah.
the green room, and you are the best.
Yeah. Or no, I was in the club in Vegas. The Wise Guys Club I did was a very stocked green room, like just drinks and food and like a nice TV. And you're like, yeah, it's just so easy, you
Oh,
know. But
yeah.
yeah, well, good for you. See, you're doing great. You know what, and I'm talking about my depression, but also you sent me this video on Instagram and a couple other people sent it to me. I hit it big on the viral
Yeah.
video. I had a
You're a somebody
reel
now.
and it got a lot of views, and then they did this thing where it found its way into like parenting Instagram, and then these moms started using the audio from the joke over like video of their kids, falling down, them being bad parents and their kid like falling down and hurting themselves, and then those would get millions of views. So now
Did
I'm like,
those outnumber your original
one of
view?
them did. Well, one
Yeah.
of them's neck and neck, I think, because the original video did. That was the best video I've ever had on Instagram by far.
Oh, really?
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
what it's at?
it's like 7 million views.
Oh,
It's crazy. And
nice.
but I got to see if you get money because I did try to monetize my account at one point, but it's not like a verified, So I don't know if it'll pay out or not, but we'll see. But anyway, the one lady's is like 7 million too. Like, so, but I'm like, do I get credit for that?
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, I wonder how
now,
that works. Like when you monetize, when people like do a response video or they stitch your
yeah,
video, you should get that.
I should get $1 per view. If I could just get $1 per view, that would be $7 million.
$1 per
I'd be
view.
totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm
not asking a lot.
Not asking a lot. And that should come personally from the person who used the audio. They should pay it.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to
Not
say like each
Instagram.
person that watches it should
Oh
bring
yeah,
a
yeah. Actually,
dollar to
that's a
my
good.
mailbox.
Actually, you're right. Every time someone watches it, they should have to pay $1.
There should be a paywall on your
Yeah,
video.
yeah. But yeah, that's so now I figure I should just be like I should like really pander to that community. You know, the
Lean
parenting,
in.
like letting your kid go out in the wood. I got to write a bunch of material about that.
Start selling shirts with kid casts on the front.
Yeah. Hurt your kids, beat your kids. Remember that? That was pretty popular for a while to tell people to beat your kids. Anyway, so yeah, so don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm doing just fine over here.
That's fine. Couple of stars on the Cavalry this week.
55 plus community, love that bit.
Yeah, I bet. But
while we're talking jokes, and I only bring this up because I feel like I've talked about this joke like 6 weeks in a row, but now it's not quite there.
All right.
Remember I told you this idea about Ginger says the car is dirty, right?
Yes.
And you thought it's funny to just, and that is that part of the joke does work where I'm just like, it's not us back here crushing graham crackers and sloshing milk around. But then I go, and I think this is hilarious. I actually really like this punchline, but it's like, you don't see me bitching at you for the car seat being installed improperly, you know?
Right. Yeah. And we talked about that.
And yeah, we talked about that. And it doesn't quite, I think it's people are too concerned that the car seat is installed improperly.
I hate that. That's so funny because like that's a perfect joke where it's like, as a comedian, before you ever told it, you're probably like, oh, this is it. Mechanically, mathematically, it's perfect.
I would have mailed that joke off to the Comedy Hall of Fame. I would have said that one's finished. Before I'd ever told it in front of anybody, I've never been more confident. And it doesn't quite work because they're actually, and then I like last night, I really like got into it. I was like, you guys, first of all, I told them, you guys are 55 and older. You didn't even put your kids in car seats. What are you judgy about? And then they didn't even laugh. They just kind of looked around like, oh, well, you know what? He's got a point. We didn't put our kids in car seats. But then, so I got to think of a new, it can't be that. Now I think like something, I was thinking like, oh, you know, you just cause you don't have a college fund, I'm not blaming you. But then I'm like, that's just not as funny to me.
Yeah.
So now I'm back to
the it's so perfect.
This pisses me off. It just pisses me off. Just laugh. It's okay. And you know what? Of course I do put her car seat in properly. Are all the straps bolted to all of the hooks in the car? No, but that doesn't mean it's improper.
What am I, a firefighter?
Yeah.
I don't know how this shit gets installed.
I mean, am I going to really like, there's like 6 of them to like bolt to every corner of the car, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
you drive
in that scenario, if I did all of those, in that scenario, my daughter would survive crashes where I wouldn't even survive. And she doesn't want to grow up without her father.
Yeah. You don't want to do that to her. No. Yeah. That's very selfless of you to do it how you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. So back to the drawing board, but that's okay. I'm determined now to make it something out of that.
See, that's a good joke. The smart joke. The last time I had that was when I told you, I talked to you about it before I even did it, was my ding dong dildo joke. I was like, this is going to be a game changer. I did it like twice and I was like, oh God, I'll just give the kids the ding dongs and throw the dildo away. I got to like hide it. I got to have a Post-it note on it in the closet. So if I die and someone finds it, it's like, this was for a comedy bit.
That is so much more commitment to have to buy a dildo though.
Yeah.
See, I was very confident in the joke, but all I did was commit it pen to paper. I didn't really have to go out and buy a sexual prop.
Yeah, you didn't have to go to your neighborhood romantics.
No, where they all know you.
Yeah.
Johnny, another dildo?
Another dildo, buddy. You wear that one down to a nub?
I told you should have bought the premium.
Did I tell you about that? I can't remember. I told this on the podcast, but when I went to go buy it, I went for a walk because they
Oh
took
no, you
out
didn't tell me
the
that.
family video and they put in a romantics, and we're like, oh, that's annoying. Great, now our neighborhood has a fucking
Yeah.
dildo store, whatever. So I was like, oh, I told Aaron about the bit. I was like, I'm gonna go for a walk. I gotta go buy that dildo. And she has all these friends in California that she gets together with, and it was one of their birthdays, and so she was like, oh, can you get this lube? It's like tasty lube when you go. And I was like, no, no,
I,
I
I
am
can't do
not
both
getting lube
because
with.
you can go this. I'm a comedian. This is a funny story. You're gonna laugh. This is for my bit. I have this thing with ding dongs and dildos. It's a bit. Also the lube. What's that for? Don't worry about it.
That's for my wife. That's for my wife.
That's just for my
Yeah,
wife.
sure.
The dildo, that's for me.
The dildo is for me, and the lube is for my wife's
Yeah.
friend. She gets together with
Lube,
the
yeah.
girls in California. You know how it is.
Don't start talking in the neighborhood. It's a small community. Uh yeah. Jokes, man. It's
Good
the worst.
stuff.
And then you're like, and then you have these half-ass ideas, and then they, you know,
Yep.
does that still happen to you where you get a big laugh on something that you weren't quite expect, like something new, and you aren't quite expecting it, and you don't even understand really why?
Yeah.
And then do you leave it in? Do you just keep it because you're like, well, they laugh. You don't like analyze it too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I have.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't
Yeah.
like, what do they know that I don't know?
Yeah. I'm such a bad comedian that like I've said things where it's not like, oh, I come up with funny
You're
stuff without
such a
even
bad
realizing,
comedian.
but where I'll have a line and people will have to tell me like,
Why
oh,
it's
that's
funny.
really a good joke. That's really funny. I'm like, oh, I didn't write that to be funny. That was just like to get to
Right.
the punchline that I thought was funny that just later gets ditched,
I've
you
had
know?
that. Yeah. I've had that thought before that, like, really what comedy is, like, some people love jokes, just joke, like the
Hmm.
twists and the turns. I think I do like that, but really I just have these like opinions or like, these premises.
Uh-huh.
And then I need like an excuse to say what I think.
To
Like,
preach.
yeah, like I'm annoyed about like when a restaurant doesn't serve Diet Coke, right? And so I would just like to say that to people. I mean, it's like, this sucks. Who are you? How dare you? But then you can't. You can't just go up there and start bitching about restaurants that don't serve Diet Coke. Everyone get like this. Fine. What do we get? So you have to give the audience like this little fucking treat at the end. You have to like
Yeah.
then have to do a twist at the end. And like sometimes I'm writing in my notebook and then it's like I'll forget. I'm like, oh yeah, like I have to like surprise them at some point. I can't just go on and on about how I wish everywhere had Diet Coke. You have to like twist it at some point to justify standing up there for an hour, or else people are going to get really mad. And that's like what my
I would
whole
love to
act
be on a show with you when you haven't
once I
gotten to that
figured it. Oh
realization yet.
yeah, it happens all the time at open mic, or just whenever I do anything new. I go on for like
Yeah.
a minute, and then I'm like, "There's no
Yeah.
punchline coming. Like this train is like, because I'm not funny enough as like a ranter. Like some guys that can do that, I guess. Like, right? Who's a comedian who can just rant and there is no twist? There's like Sebastian, maybe. Like he's just
Yeah.
so funny physically, and like
I mean, Bill Burr's like that, where
Bill
you just
Burr, but he
find the
usually
thing.
has like actually like a line or something at some
Yeah.
point. I don't know. But yeah, I have like had that thought as I'm writing, like, no, you have to give the audience like a little treat here. You have to give them a bone, or else they're not gonna sit through this
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. I think that happened to me the last time I was at the open mic at County on State, and I was like, oh, this is a funny idea. I'll come up with something.
Yeah,
I'll
on your
land the
feet.
plane when I'm up there. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Not,
like, well, once, yeah, like I've done that. I've ran premises out there like back when I was doing, when I was in Seattle and at the old club. And I just had like unlimited stage time, just like Thursday through Sunday, basically as much time as I wanted on shows that really didn't matter.
Yeah.
I would run the same premises out there 50, 60 times
Without a punchline?
And I just loved the premise. Yeah, with no idea and just and sometimes every once in a while, like you'd find it, you just say it a
Yeah.
little different way, or something would happen on stage, or a thought would occur to you. But you don't really have that luxury now. Like the shows mean a little bit more now because you're getting
Yeah.
paid. Like it feels reckless, you know?
Yeah.
Or you just know too
Feels
much about comedy.
irresponsible.
You're just like, no, that's not, just figure it out before you go on stage, asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then you just curse yourself the whole drive home. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Should have prepared.
I did that a little bit because I had this thing about, buying wine at the grocery store, and like you get 6. You save money if you buy 6 bottles.
Yeah.
I mean, so I have nothing. I just it's just funny to me. Like, and you get like a little carrying case.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saving money, and you just like look like a big alcohol. But there's no joke, so I just start talking about, because I had this other joke about wine, and then I start talking about it, and then everyone's just like, "Yeah," and you're like, "All right." It's just like
you just hope the adrenaline of being on stage will cause lightning to, like, you'll just come up with a great punchline.
And it is harder when they all paid to be there, because then you're like,
yeah.
If it's a stupid open mic or whatever, you can wriggle out of it so much easier. But when they're all expecting something at the end of every thought. It's very
then you're on stage, you start thinking about the booker in the back of the room, like, is he treating this fucking paid show like a goddamn open mic? And you're like, oh.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, comedy. This is a comedy podcast. Take that.
Take that. Let's see if I have any discussion points about comedy.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't. But do we want to get into our football picks?
Bump, bump, bump. We're 1-3. We're both 1-3.
Yep. We
not
both
bad.
Lost our last pick. We both got our third picks.
And so I have, but I feel like I actually did some more research this week.
Okay.
And
we're taking for week 5.
So let me answer that.
I got 2 choices I didn't pick, so I was gonna see if you had a suggestion.
Oh, okay. Give me yours first.
Well, I was thinking the Chiefs versus the Saints, and I would take the Chiefs, but I'd have to win by more than 5.5 points.
Right.
And that's I think that's a Monday game. Does that make sense? Is that a Monday game?
I think that is Monday night. Hey, let me tell you something. Take the Chiefs, because I like the Saints. And we'll finally break this stupid tie, because we've been tied ever since we started. We've had the exact same record the whole way. So let's make it interesting. I'll take the Saints.
This is only week 5. How many weeks are there?
17.
Oh, we want to make it interesting this early?
Well, I don't know.
What if we want to see how long until it breaks?
You know what, Johnny? You're right. It wouldn't be the Cavalry style to make it interesting early. Let's really force the audience to stick around for weeks and weeks before we get to anything interesting.
Let's see if it organically gets interesting.
Right. Let's not plan anything interesting. Let's not force it.
Right.
People don't like that. They like.
Are you taking the Saints?
I'm on the Saints. I like that one a lot.
Was that your one coming in before I even said mine? That would have been
my one coming in. Yes.
Okay. I'll just tell you my other one.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I was thinking the Bears versus the Panthers. Bears.
Well, I'll tell you what. I like the Bears if it's only one Panther. I'll tell you that. If it's 11-on-1, give me the Bears all day.
Bears favored 3.5.
Right.
But that's a noon game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
That'll be Sunday.
Okay.
Sports. Cavalry sports expertise. Supreme.
Yes.
Yeah, they play these NFL games a lot on Sundays. But what I will say is that Bears one, well, I like it. Obviously, I like it more than the Chiefs because I'm on the Saints. So of course I'm going to tell you to take the Bears in that scenario.
Yeah.
You know, at that one,
We,
there's just
we,
two bad teams. I don't know which. The reason why I like the Saints is because the Chiefs probably will win that game, you know,
yeah.
but Mahomes and this version of the Chiefs has a tendency to sort of like play these games close, and I feel like the Saints have a good defense, and so I could see that game being closer than 5.5 points.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
So that would be interesting if the Saints or if the Chiefs win by like 4 points and you still win
right.
the bet.
Exactly. That would be interesting.
Let's do it. Let's
That's
do it.
interesting talk. Wait, so who are you on? You're on the Chiefs?
I'll do. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, you're going against me. All right.
We'll go interesting.
Let's go interesting.
Yes.
Pick sides, Cavalry Nation.
Yeah.
Are you a Johnny head? Or are you an Andrew guy?
That's right. Leave a 5-star review and tell us who you're rooting for.
You know what? Forget it. I don't even need your reviews anymore. All right.
In fact, you know what? Fuck
fuck you and all.
Fuck all you out there.
What? Should we go to topics?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Johnny.
Right, who's going first?
Oh, you go first a lot. Do you want me to go first?
Sure. I went first last week, I think. So you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so I was up in Bonnie Lake, Washington last night, and I got there a little early, so I was gonna go get dinner.
Yeah.
And it was that very much like, first of all, it was that thing where I don't know if you ever do this with Aaron probably sees through it because you're so transparent about what you like, but like where you go like, oh yeah, I guess I'll like, it's like I'm starving and there's nothing out here. I guess I'll go eat at, some fast food place that you secretly are like dying to eat at, but you're trying to play it off like, yeah, I'm stuck eating at Culver's or whatever. You pretend like that's the shitty option, but really you're like stoked.
Yeah, there's nothing open but Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that with Red Robin. There was a Red Robin. You ever go to Red Robin?
I think I've been there once.
Okay. Well,
it's like a burger place, right?
Yeah, it's like a big, I think it started in Seattle, but it's like a national chain now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so their whole gimmick is they have unlimited fries. That's always been their thing. That you can order a burger and then you can just sit there if you wanted to, like a big fat pig, and order a basket of fries after fries after fries. And there's a couple other places that do unlimited food that's not a buffet.
Olive Garden breadsticks.
Olive Garden breadsticks. I remember Tony Roma's ribs. Yeah. You remember that? They used to do the unlimited ribs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tuesdays. Yeah, so then you could order ribs. These are all, and breadsticks, let's put that one aside. But most of these, if it's not a buffet, but it's advertised as unlimited, is a scam. Ooh. Let me tell you why.
Ooh, okay.
Because they bring your thing out with less of that thing than you would have gotten normally. Because they know you might be ordering another one. Yep. Then they also know there's a lot of shame involved in ordering another one. So if I sit there and I have a whole big hamburger and all the French fries and I'm by myself and she comes around and is like, do you want another basket of fries? Like I have to really like, yeah, I do want another basket of fries and refill my soda, please. Like they know I have to do that. So they brought me less fries in the first place because I looked at it and I like almost counted them. I'm like, this is ridiculous. There was like 6 French fries on my thing.
Oh, I love it.
I think it's all a scam. That they've actually served less French fries than like an average, than like Applebee's across the street when they serve a burger and a basket of fries. Like Applebee's is putting more fries in there, and they've probably netted out more fries served at Applebee's than Red Robin would be my guess.
So it's not necessarily a scam. It's more of a strategy where they're banking and they're unfairly shaming you. Oh my gosh, you finished that whole plate. All done, are you?
I say scam because I'm looking out for the consumer. You
Sure.
say strategy because you're a big business capitalist corporate guy.
Well, or because I zero shame. You try to shame me.
Well, I know.
Oh, I'm in fucking, whatever town in the middle of nowhere. I don't care what anyone thinks of me.
Ask me,
Go ahead and
ask
bring
me,
me 3 baskets.
ask me if I got that second basket of fries or the that.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
There
And
you go.
she asked
Attaboy.
it that way too. She's like, do you want another basket of fries? Like, yes. Yes, I do. I've got a long time before the show. I would like another basket of fries.
See, and it made enough of an impact in your mind that you brought it to the Cavalry.
Right.
On that, if
You
that
wouldn't
had that
even
effect on
considered
me,
it.
no, I would have, but I also would have ordered one more basket than I needed just to be like, you know what, fuck you, trying to
Right.
save fries. I'm gonna leave a full basket here
Yeah.
to show you that I won't be shamed and I didn't even need them.
When we were kids, we used to do the Tony Roma's thing, and that was like a big deal for us. But we were like high school, so we were like really into like like, oh, we're gonna eat so much. I'm gonna not eat all day, and then we're gonna go eat unlimited ribs and just crush ribs.
Crush ribs
But
when our stomachs are small.
yeah, but then they would, you know, the ribs are expensive. I mean, like
Yeah, that's
that's
kind
not
of
like French
shocking to hear.
fries.
I didn't know
So
about that.
so that what they would do is like they would bring you out like one little half thing of baby back ribs, and
Mm-hmm.
then you would want another one, and so you would finish the one, and then they would take their time, then they come around, they go, oh, did you want more? And you go, yeah. And then it'd be like 15 minutes. They have to go back there and make it and then bring you another. So they try to wait you out. So then you try to order them, you try to stack them. Like as one's coming out, you're like, yeah, you're gonna want to go ahead and get on the next one.
You're gonna want to put another one in for me.
Have you ever done sushi? Have you ever done all you can eat sushi? Where
I've never done all you can eat. No.
buffet, it's like they bring it. We did that in college, but see, we didn't know they had this rule where so it was the same thing where you're stacking the orders. You're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is fine for now, but you're gonna want to go ahead and get a bunch
Right.
going.
What's the rule?
The rule is anything you don't finish, you pay for to prevent you from over ordering.
Sure.
And we were in college, so of course we were like, we cannot afford to not finish. And the amount of shit that we were so sick. Like I didn't eat sushi for like 3 years. I
Oh my
stuffed
God.
so much sushi. And sushi's a bad one when you're like full and you don't want anymore to keep eating. Like that's not
Yeah.
a great food to like overeat on.
Oh, that's what you gotta just get. You gotta get like like a grocery store plastic bag and put it in your
Yeah,
pocket.
I know.
And then just when
And
you're
then
done, you just dump the rest in there.
No,
And
save it for later.
or
Bring it home in a warm plastic bag and save that sushi for tomorrow.
Well, or just throw it away in the garbage can
Yeah,
outside.
yeah. Now sushi is not like an overeater, a common like you don't see like on my 600-pound life, you don't see a lot of like sushi
Right.
orders.
That's funny you would do that. I never heard of that at a sushi place. And every time I go to sushi with Aaron, I always leave
Hungry.
very hungry.
Yeah, it's hard to order enough sushi.
Yes, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I back you up.
You're backing me up. Just go. I don't need unlimited fries. I don't need unlimited ribs. Just put a lot on there.
Yep.
That's fine.
Do it like Five Guys. You fill it, and then you just dump scoops on top of it.
That is great backup. That is exactly right. Five Guys is the exact right. Because no one's ever wanted more fry. If you eat all the fries you get at Five Guys, you are like,
you should be ashamed of yourself.
And I had peanuts while I waited because I came in hungry.
Right.
If you ever eat too many peanuts at Five Guys and you're like, God damn it, I ate way too many peanuts.
Oh no, I don't. I've never eaten peanuts there, as I don't like.
Really? Oh my God, I always fall for it. I'm always like, oh, free peanuts. And I go crazy. Because I get my Diet Coke going. I'm like, oh, a salty snack while I wait. And the gimmick there is that they like fry it all in peanut oil. So like, okay, here's our peanuts to prove that we use oil. I think that's it. Like, what do I care if it's peanut oil or I don't give a fucking shit what kind of oil it is.
Yeah, I don't like how they have their bags of potatoes out in the public area. It's like, how do I know that some customer didn't stick his dick in this bag before,
Yeah,
and
I
then that's the
know.
one you used for my fries?
I want my dick to be the only dick in these potatoes. I don't want a bunch of other stranger
Right.
dicks in here.
Yeah, no way. No, thank you.
Disgusting.
Gross.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I need virgin potatoes.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
What, Johnny, do you need backup on?
Okay. So you're scrolling down Instagram, right?
No.
And or TikTok, whatever. You come across the videos. Oh my gosh, do not eat, chicka boom boom popcorn anymore. It's terrible for you. They
Right.
have, whatever glycemia yellow 16 and
Yeah.
it's poison. It's like, okay, they have these videos. You have to, it's so easy to do that to any food unless you're offering a alternative that is
Yes.
equally as convenient and delicious.
Yes.
Just shut up, because
Shut up.
nobody cares. I don't care. I shouldn't say nobody cares. I don't care. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's everything. Everything is bad for you.
Everything's bad for you, and we've never lived longer.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's what I can't get by. Like everything's horrible for you. We're all getting cancer. Everything's bad, and everyone's living till they're like 90, and there's not enough social security to go around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which one
Would you?
is it?
Do you think it's true though that, like, yes, we're living longer, but we're also like those last few 10, 20 years are riddled with cancer and Alzheimer's and all sorts of
Yeah,
terrible diseases from this plastic?
yeah. I'm sure like the plastic's not good, and I'm sure the like the HG whatever you said was in the chicka chicka boom boom 1670.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
I'm
don't.
sure that has like marginal. Who knows? Who knows what it causes? Maybe it does. There's some cancer that comes from it, but like the overall benefit from like putting a bunch of science into our food is obviously better for society, that we can grow bigger, fatter vegetables and more
Yeah,
food and make more popcorn and shit like that, because it just, the proof's in the pudding. Like people
we're living
live
longer.
longer. And plastic's pretty good too when you think about the fact that like they fucking put stuff in plastic and then it doesn't like spoil, and it doesn't give you like other diseases that, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. What do you mean?
I don't know. They use plastic to do good things. We always think about plastic as being bad, but they're like, you need plastic to like for to store certain medicines, I'm sure, or like do science
Yeah,
experiments, or like all this. We're doing a podcast, everything we're using was made of plastic, you know?
yeah. As
Where would
opposed
you
to,
be without the cavalry in your life? This computer's plastic, this microphone's plastic, you know?
yeah. I think my microphone might be metal.
But what about the thing holding it?
Plastic. You got me
Yeah,
there, my friend. You
I
got me
got you
there.
there.
Yeah.
No. Or
This
like
microphone would be on the floor if it wasn't for
all the
plastic.
experiments they do to find all the microplastics are used with like micropipettes, probably made of plastic.
Yeah.
I don't
Good
know.
point.
I think plastic
Ah,
gets a bad rap.
yeah.
You know, plastic, it's great.
Plastic, it's great. We
You know what I
should
mean?
start a campaign.
I should start a pro plastics.
They say
No,
there's a lot of plastic in men's balls.
yeah. Which do I say?
Fine.
Go for it.
Not doing anything,
I
it's
don't
fine.
feel it. My
Yeah.
balls. You know what I mean?
It's not like it's sharp pieces,
No.
It's like microscopic
It's the
amounts.
same thing we always say about like, you know, it's so gross to do XYZ, or like, oh my God, can you? But like, unless you're actually getting sick from
Right.
the thing, who, it's just gross in your mind, you
When
know?
they're saying like, ooh,
Okay,
if you take a microscope to like, don't bite your nails, and then they zoom in on some homeless person's
right.
nail and there's like a larva.
Or your phone is the dirtiest thing. Your
Yeah.
phone is dirtier than a toilet seat, so you shouldn't ever touch your phone. It's like, well, I touch my phone every day.
Is it
I'm not, I'm fine. you know?
Is this gross? I have no problem using the remote controls in hotel rooms.
Yeah, no, I don't even think about it.
I know that it is
And you know what I hate?
fact
You know
that
what I
it's
hate?
the dirtiest thing. What?
Yeah, you know what I hate more than anything
What?
is the remote controls that are they're
Plastic? They
like
have a case. Yeah.
they're blue and white, and then they say on them like, "Oh, this is you can't get a germ on me. I'm made in a way that somehow is." I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
What? Don't even. What are you talking about? You're
I'm
telling
made in
me
a way.
if I took a shit on this remote control, it would just like hover above it and fall off. It's impossible to get any germs. You're out of your mind. If
Yeah.
some if someone with COVID sneezed on this thing, there's no way that I could get COVID. Get out of here.
Yeah. You're telling, yeah, this remote control is made in a way to where our buttons suck.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. It just makes you feel like you're staying in a hospital, and
Yep.
that and then it's very hard to change the channel.
Yeah.
That's all those are. It's the
Oh.
same thing with the poop bags with dogs.
Yeah.
And then in the green ones are
Oh yeah.
biodegradable. Oh, they're green. Good for the environment. This plastic is green. Green means good for the environment. Like, get out of it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's just a plastic bag.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you're backing me up, of
I'm
course.
backing you up. Plastics. What was the original thing?
You
Oh, the
can't
chemicals
make
in
videos
food.
saying everything's poison. And if your option is don't
I
eat
know.
popcorn, instead grow a garden and make your own organic tomatoes. Like,
Sure, you
well, I
should
don't
do
buy
that.
that.
And you know what? I'm not even arguing with people like the just the food people are annoying me because I agree with you. If you ever eat a tomato, you wouldn't. You can just time out on this. What I'm about to say,
You can just talk to the listeners for a minute here.
honey. Go get a drink. I'm going to talk to everybody about tomatoes. But if you eat a tomato from a grocery store or eat a tomato your neighbor grew, it's like two different things. It is totally different. You cannot.
Can you think of anything besides tomatoes that applies to that I can participate in?
Yeah, if you grow your own Hostess cupcake, and if you buy one at the store,
If you grow your own Burger King, grow your own Whopper, and then you go.
oh, see, that should be a bit. Can you do that as a bit? Like I grow my own Whopper. That's where it's inverse, though. You ever see those videos of people like, I made my own Whopper? It's like, fucking idiot. It's not going to taste as good. Yeah, I could make a hamburger. I know what that it's like. There's something
Yeah,
about the shittiness of the Whopper that you like, you know?
yeah. It's that pound of salt.
Yeah. Yeah. But, what was I saying? Oh,
The
like
tomatoes.
tomatoes. It tastes so much better. The neighbor's tomato, you can grow your own food and make it taste better. But there is some foods where the corporations nailed it. Like apples, you can't tell the difference between a tree apple or a store-bought apple. They taste exactly alike.
You know what? You're right. They taste exactly like, but then there's those videos that's like, don't buy them from the store because they're covered in wax. They're for the pesticides. Like, I don't taste it. I know. What are you talking about? It's a lot easier for me to go to Pick and Save than to plant an apple tree in my backyard.
It's going straight in my balls with all the plastic. Put the
Right.
wax and the plastic and the this bug spray all in my balls.
Yeah, just keep
It's
it in the
fine.
old
It's fine in there.
nutsack. Whew.
Ah, backing you
We
up,
covered a
dude.
lot of ground.
We did. We did. Good app.
That's how we do it on the Cavalry, folks.
Thank you everybody for listening to the Cavalry. I am going to plug some dates. These are gonna all be, I think, in November because I'm going on a stupid cruise ship after this next thing. So I will be in Boise November 1st and 2nd at the Mad Swede Brewing Hall. And then after that, I'll be at Vorshay's in Wichita, Kansas, November 8th and 9th.
Yeah, you got to give me that guy's contact info.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. I'm not even exactly sure what it pays. So let me
might not
nail
be
down
worth
the
it.
details. But Make sure it's worth it first. Anyway, check those out.
I will be at the Aztec Theater in Kansas City. My opening act you may recognize from Touring with Andrew Sleighter, Zach favorite. That's Friday, October 25th at the Aztec Theater in Kansas City.
All right, check those shows out. And thank you, as always, everyone, for listening to
The Cavalry.